A brutal kick connects with a sickening crunch, followed immediately by a fist slamming into the gut. In the gym, two guys are sparring pretty intensely, and one of them is already wincing from the impact. Our boy Suhong casually mentions he has reached subtle mastery, which is apparently the third of 5 whole martial arts levels. His friend is completely blown away, calling him the best in class, but Suhong is already squaring up for another round, making his partner tap out, calling him a training maniac. He waves goodbye to teacher Lee, who offers some solid advice: put a shirt on. This teacher then turns his attention to Suhong, asking about the big exam, specifically why he has not paid the 30,000 yuan registration fee. Suhong asks for a few more days, but the teacher says rules are rules, leaving him standing all alone in the massive, empty gym, totally crushed by the weight of that impossible fee. Turns out his parents died in a beast disaster when he was a kid, so his aunt and uncle's family took him in and supported his dream. Because in this world, being a martial artist is a high-paying, respected job, but now he feels like he is just making their lives harder. This quiet street that night feels just as heavy as his thoughts. Suhong gets home only to overhear his family's sacrifice. They are putting his registration fee ahead of their own rent. And the guilt piles on, knowing his uncle's injured and his aunt's sick, which just hardens his resolve to fix this himself. So he literally slaps some sense back into his own face, then walks in with a smile like he heard nothing at all. His aunt and uncle just shoo him off to rest, ever the supportive family, so he heads to his room, the weight of it all settling in. Lying in bed, he decides he is done being a burden, and he knows exactly where a martial artist can make cash fast. This next day, he shows up at a very sketchy-looking building, which turns out to be an underground fighting arena. Of course it is. On stage, an announcer introduces the reigning champ, the Minotaur, and it is our boy Suhong under that ridiculous mask. This crowd immediately writes him off as a suicidal newbie, while the announcer tells him to get passionate and play to the crowd. She basically has to coach him on how to trash talk, insult them, you get it. So he takes a deep breath and bellows a challenge to all the weaklings, which gets the crowd all fired up, ready to see him get wrecked. With the audience baying for blood, the first match is set to begin. Suhong feels the killing intent, but hey, tuition's on the line, and his first challenger is some cocky guy who wants to play famous last words. He immediately spots a fatal flaw: this guy's stance is just garbage. Monkey Mask throws a punch, screaming at him for just standing there, which Suhong blocks with one hand like it is absolutely nothing, then counters with a palm strike straight to the dude's face. One hit sends the guy flying clean out of the ring, leaving Suhong to soak in his first ridiculously easy win. This crowd, who just called him a suicidal newbie, is now roaring for him. So of course, a bigger, tougher-looking guy steps up to the plate, and Suhong is actually excited to test his diamond fist on him. This new challenger comes in hot, throwing a massive punch, and their fists meet in a huge, screen-shaking impact. But while the other guy is shocked, Suhong realizes he is way stronger. His punch blows right through the block and smashes the guy's face, because our boy spotted the opening, all upper body, no core. He follows up with a devastating kick to the guy's exposed side, sending this challenger flying with even more force than the last one. With his second opponent down, Suhong just calls for the next victim. He stands alone in the ring again, the undisputed king for now. Meanwhile, some big shot in a VIP room is very impressed with Suhong's performance, seeing the 3-win streak and immediately thinking match-fixing material, so he sends his masked subordinate to recruit Suhong with a warning to hide his own strength. Back in the ring, Suhong is feeling pretty good about his subtle mastery level, because one more win gets him double the cash he needs for that exam fee. His final challenger steps up, and it is the White Fox from the VIP room, which the crowd immediately calls out as cheating since he is a quasi-warrior. Suhong knows this is a huge step up, but he cannot afford to lose now. This fox, on the other hand, looks entirely too calm about this whole thing, telling Suhong not to worry, he will control his strength. What a nice guy. With the final match of the challenge officially announced, they both explode off the line in a blur of motion. Knowing he is out-leveled, Suhong decides his first move has to be everything he has got. Their fists connect with a massive shockwave, but Suhong immediately feels something is wrong. This power is way beyond a quasi-warrior. Realizing this dude is a full-blown warrior who is hiding his true strength, White Fox just smirks under his mask, preparing his next move, unleashing a flurry of lightning-fast punches called the Thunder Rush Fist, and Suhong is completely overwhelmed, taking the full force of a true warrior's attack. This crowd recognizes the devastating technique, and everyone agrees our boy is toast. White Fox taunts him for just defending, demanding to see his real strength, and Suhong knows he is completely outclassed, on the verge of losing, desperately trying to find an opening in the relentless assault. But a fist finally slips right through his guard, connecting with a brutal, mask-cracking impact. This blow sends our boy flying clear across the ring, and as he hits the mat, his consciousness starts to fade. With a foot on his mask, White Fox adds insult to literal injury. Then comes the job offer: throw matches for them and he will get paid. He follows up with a friendly little threat about the consequences of saying no. But from the floor, Suhong calls them a disgrace to martial arts. This villain just smirks like, so that is a no then. His next move is to threaten to cripple Suhong. What a charming negotiator. That threat, however, just fuels Suhong's resolve to become a warrior, even as the fox moves in for the finishing blow. Somehow Suhong forces himself back to his feet, burning with pure willpower, which actually shocks White Fox. He cannot believe the kid is still standing. His mind flashes to his family and everything they have sacrificed for him. absolutely refusing a future where he gives up on his dream or his morals. And right then, a mysterious voice asks what he is willing to give. With his last bit of will, Su-hong roars his answer, he will give up everything. And a system window pops up to confirm his very dramatic all-in bet. In a flash, he is pulled out of the ring and into some kind of digital space, finding himself alone in a vast, dark hall with a seriously monstrous shadow. A towering, golden being of light appears before him, your standard mysterious benefactor. This entity offers him a chance, which is never ever a red flag. Golden energy immediately swirls around Su-hong, sealing the deal, then solidifies into a floating gold tablet right in his face, which turns out to be his very own RPG character sheet complete with stats. His first brilliant thought is to poke the strange floating menu, of course. He opens the quest log to find a tutorial with the grand prize of absolutely nothing. While he is processing this amazing offer, a glowing blue clone of him just appears, and this clone does not waste time on introductions, immediately lunging to attack, forcing Su-hong to dodge a punch from, well, himself. He realizes this clone is using his own diamond fist but with flawless textbook form, so instead of panicking, he sees the perfect chance to learn from a master. Their fists connect as he tries to absorb the clone's perfect technique, getting a free masterclass from a version of himself that actually read the manual. Unfortunately, perfect technique also means hits way harder and a fist breaks his guard, sending him stumbling back from the impact, his tutorial just getting started. Su-hong sees his diamond fist mastery has already jumped to 10%, realizing this whole system is basically a cheat code for leveling up. So begins the training montage, fighting himself at super speed. Every single clash levels up his skills like crazy, his entire moveset getting a live XP boost from this one fight. First, his floating light palm hits 100% and evolves mid-punch, followed immediately by his void step footwork hitting its own cap, and with a final blow, his diamond fist reaches grand achievement. His training partner dissolves into light, leaving him totally spent. With the tutorial complete, the system asks if he is ready to return to reality. He accepts, snapping back to the ring with a brand new fiery red aura. White Fox is not impressed by the light show and rushes in to finish him, throwing that same thunder rush fist that nearly took him out before. Except this time, Su-hong calls it too slow and dodges effortlessly. Our boy winds up his own punch and you can see the panic in the Fox's eyes. Because that new grand achievement fist connects, shattering the guy's mask to pieces. His own mask crumbles away, revealing a very calm, very scary Su-hong, and the entire crowd just goes dead silent, brains completely short-circuited. Su-hong stands over the crumpled body of the invincible warrior, then turns to the announcer and calmly asks when he is getting paid. Back in the VIP room, the big shot is absolutely floored by Su-hong's mastery, ordering his goons to tail the kid and dig up his identity. Su-hong, meanwhile, is just walking home with his prize money, but he immediately senses the two stooges trying to follow him. With a quick turn down an alley, he vanishes into thin air, leaving the goons completely baffled and about to fail their one job. Turns out he is just chilling above them doing the splits between two walls, a totally normal way to hide. An hour later, he is finally back at his apartment building, where his family's first reaction to the cash is naturally, "Did you rob a bank?" He spins a story about a generous dojo master, though his aunt calls him out on his previous complaints. With his best puppy dog eyes, Su-hong asks them to just trust him, and of course they immediately melt, bursting with pride for their boy. Later that night, he sneaks up to the rooftop for some quiet time, feeling relieved that all his family's bills are finally paid off. He pulls up his stat sheet, thanking the system for the clutch win, which then informs him he has earned a bunch of points for beating a stronger opponent. Like any good gamer, he immediately decides to spend them all, dumping everything into his blood energy stat until his eyes practically pop out, and a massive power-up aura erupts all around him. He checks the numbers again, realizing he just hit quasi-warrior level with a few clicks. He immediately dumps all his new points into blood energy, stat padding like a pro, which not only heals him but also provides a complimentary six-pack. He needs to test this out. So our boy takes to the rooftops, leaping across the city like a superhero in training, deciding the best place for some late-night vandalism is the school's martial arena. He lands in the center of the massive, empty stadium, walking right up to the Tier 1 combat power tester, which has no idea what is coming. Su-hong decides to be gentle, winding up a punch with only 70% of his new power, his eye glowing as he focuses all that energy into one fist, and the resulting impact is just a little bit catastrophic. His face immediately shifts to pure, unadulterated panic, staring at the smoking, sparking wreckage and worrying about the repair bill. An angry shout from off-screen is all the motivation he needs to absolutely book it. A furious old man in pajamas finds the destroyed machine, blaming two students he already hates, and he vows to make them pay, steam practically blasting out of his mustache. This next day, the entire school is gathered for an assembly in the gymnasium, where some students notice one of the accused troublemakers, Chen Shan, is already beaten up. This gossip is that he got punished for breaking the tester but refused to snitch. While on stage, the principal introduces a Tier 3 warrior to teach everyone Thunder Rush Fist. All the students are completely stunned. A C-rank art for free is unheard of. Su-hong, however, just recognizes it as the same technique White Fox nearly killed him with. Su-hong knows this is a golden opportunity since learning a C-rank art is crazy expensive. On stage, the guest instructor skips the pleasantries. He will demo it 10 times and that is it. Unleashing the Thunder Rush Fist, a punch that literally sounds like a thunderclap, with more mastery levels adding more claps, which is a very simple way to show off. And he flexes his own grand achievement level, complete with 7 flashy rings of power. He then tells the students to aim low because just getting to level 1 is good enough for them. With that incredibly inspiring speech, the entire gym starts practicing in unison. But a few hours later, they are all just exhausted and confused on the floor. One student complains that a C-rank art is just too hard for them to learn, while his buddy turns to ask Su-hong for help only to find he has completely vanished. At that moment, the school genius Chen Shan actually masters the beginner level, which the principal proudly points out, though the instructor calls him barely average, as the two of them walk away from the disappointing lesson. This instructor complains that the students are lacking and he wasted his time, both agreeing that talent is everything and hard work is basically pointless without it. Suddenly, they both freeze, sensing an insane surge of power from behind them. It is Su-hong casually pulling off a 7-clap punch, the same as the masters. Both teachers are having a complete meltdown. He reached grand achievement in half a day. But then they count 9 claps and the principal starts vibrating out of existence. This instructor's eyes go wide with a terrifying realization. He understands everything now. This instructor's fist crackles with a sudden surge of power, and he unleashes his own Thunder Rush Fist just to test his new insight, revealing he just broke through to 8 claps, all thanks to Su-hong's enlightenment. Both teachers immediately book it, desperate to find this mystery prodigy, only to find he has already vanished, leaving a cartoon-style outline behind. Su-hong, meanwhile, is just walking home, completely drained by the C-rank skill. He checks his stats, sees perfect completion, and wonders how to farm points without nearly dying. His next stop is his part-time job at the Rage Thunder Dojo, which is packed with students training hard with spears. A friend greets him, surprised he showed up just for some practice. While across the room, a purple-haired bully is stomping on another student's head, blaming the guy for being too dumb to learn, a classic teaching method. His friend explains this is the new instructor's disciple, a total snob who hates commoners, and this disciple Li Yan is apparently just as strong and arrogant as his master. Li Yan then challenges some random student just for looking at him, but his punch is stopped cold by Su-hong's casual interception. Su-hong suggests they keep things friendly with light contact, which the guy takes as a challenge, demanding a proper fight in the ring. Just then, the new head instructor arrives, shutting down the commotion, forcing Li Yan to back off, promising to deal with Su-hong later. Su-hong is already sizing up the purple-haired bully, not a fan of the attitude. At the front, the new instructor announces a one-and-done lesson on the Rage C-Spear technique, giving a single, powerful demonstration of the move, all while thinking these students are too useless to learn it anyway. Peak motivation right there. Su-hong, however, just grabs a spear, his system already downloading the data. In his eye, the entire move is perfectly reflected and analyzed in an instant. This instructor then just drops his weapon and walks off, lesson officially over. All the other students immediately start complaining that the whole thing was a total ripoff. But Su-hong has already grasped the core concept, a fiery aura flaring up behind him. He channels his energy, preparing to replicate the move perfectly, and unleashes a flawless version of the spear technique, complete with flashy blue effects. Everyone else just stares, having the sudden, crushing realization that they might just be dumb. This commotion brings Li Yan storming back, demanding to know who is making all the noise, only to see Su-hong executing the move he just learned. This purple-haired snob is actually intrigued, deciding he needs to test this genius himself. He calls Su-hong out, offering some pointers, which is code for "I am gonna beat you down." Our boy just calmly accepts, and the two face off in the center of the dojo. His friend tries to warn him about Li Yan's strength, but Su-hong is completely unbothered. He even politely asks for guidance before the fight begins, which Li Yan answers by immediately attacking with his own subtle mastery spear strike. Su-hong calmly counters the attack, completely in the zone, his system confirming he is already at proficient level with the spear, which sends Li Yan into a state of absolute sputtering disbelief, because our boy is now using the same move but way better. Their spears collide with a massive burst of energy, sending the purple-haired bully flying while he has a meltdown about the power gap. With his eyes glowing, Su-hong is just pure focused power, and the fight ends with Li Yan getting absolutely wrecked. Su-hong gets a sweet plus 35 points, realizing sparring is his new favorite hobby. While on the floor, Li Yan is just broken, muttering impossible like a sad little mantra. His entire life's training flashes before his eyes, all for nothing, apparently. So naturally, he has a total tantrum and tries to sucker punch Su-hong. But the punch is stopped cold, with Su-hong looking bored by the whole display. Turns out the head instructor stepped in to stop his disciple's meltdown, giving him a much-needed lecture on how to not be a pathetic sore loser. Li Yan's face is just a perfect portrait of humiliation and rage. Meanwhile, the instructor is internally freaking out, realizing Su-hong is a monster-level genius. So he forces his student to apologize, calling this a good learning experience for him. And Su-hong is just sweating, thinking this guy's attitude flipped on a dime. Later that night, our boy walks home, exhausted but happy with his day of farming points. Su-hong reviews his stats, pretty pleased with his new skills and points. But with the school exam looming, he realizes he needs a proper weapon to compete. This spear feels right, so he decides to commit and buy a high-grade alloy one. only to see the price tag. His savings are for family, not fancy gear. Our boy is now officially broke and desperately trying to figure out a side hustle. A public notice about hunting fierce beasts for cash suddenly looks very appealing. And just like that, the idea of leaving the city to hunt monsters takes root. Back home, his aunt and uncle are still working through their injuries to save for him, and he walks in on this conversation, greeting them warmly. Su-hong immediately tries to take over, but his aunt just tells him to rest. He tells his uncle to stop working, promising he can provide for them now, which earns him a big, goofy thumbs up and a promise not to overdo it. His aunt explains they are saving up because his future training will be expensive, and Su-hong realizes they will not rest until he is truly secure on his own. This just solidifies his decision. He is going on that beast hunt no matter what. To prepare, he immediately dumps all his new points into blood energy for a quick power-up. A red aura flaring around him as he gets dangerously close to the next level. 2 days later, he is passed out on the gym floor, having grinded all his skills to perfect completion. With all his prep done, it is finally time to head out into the wild. His first stop being the massive Star City Warrior base, which is way out in the boonies. Su-hong finally reaches the warrior base, which looks way cooler in person, and the place is absolutely packed with hardcore-looking warriors. He immediately checks the bounty list, seeing how much cash he can make off monster parts. But the proof of kill is a severed left ear, a system straight out of the Stone Age. Right on cue, some other hunter is cashing in a whole sack of them, when suddenly a group of goons start shoving everyone out of the way. They are clearing a path for young Master Yi, who has clearly got main character syndrome. And Su-hong recognizes the vibe, thinking he looks like some underground arena fighter. Nearby, people gossip that the only reason he has not been beaten up is his powerful uncle. Our boy just watches this whole parade of arrogance pass by, and the blonde-haired punk gives him a smug little smirk, which Su-hong returns with a look that says, "I am so not impressed." This whole encounter just reminds him that humans can be bigger monsters than beasts. At the main gate, a guard questions him for going into the wilderness alone, then writes him off as another fearless kid about to become monster food. With that ringing endorsement, Su-hong steps out into the massive forest, completely focused and determined to bring back a huge payday. 2 hours pass in the quiet woods, and he has not found a single beast, wondering if the area has been cleared out. Deciding there is no other choice, he sprints deeper into the forest. Su-hong sprints through the trees, finally picking up a trail. And there it is, a massive red-eyed wolf ready to pounce. He recognizes it as a shadow moon wolf straight out of a textbook, which lets out a ferocious roar, not a fan of being studied. This beast immediately lunges forward, aiming to make him its next meal, its claws swiping through the air with some serious killing intent. But Su-hong just sidesteps the attack, winding up a punch of his own, his fist crackling with that familiar Thunder Rush energy. He lands a perfect Thunder Rush fist right into the wolf's ribs, sending the poor thing flying with a pathetic little yelp. Standing over the one-shotted beast, our boy looks completely unfazed. He's actually buzzing with excitement, finding monster hunting way more fun than he expected. Feeling cocky, he wonders how he'd do against a stronger beast as red eyes glow in the dark, and a massive raging black bear answers his call. Talk about instant karma. A quick cut later, the bear is already on the ground, completely knocked out. Su-hong stands on its back, thinking he is pretty safe as long as he avoids Tier 2 monsters. He calmly carves out proof of his kill, already counting the cash reward. This system then dings, telling him he's got enough points to level up to warrior rank. Just as he is celebrating, a terrifying wave of energy washes over him, and he looks up, realizing something way more powerful is lurking nearby. Su-hong leaps through the forest to check out the source of the chaos. Landing on a high rock, his eyes widening at the scene below him. It is a massive black jade python, and it is already busy wiping the floor with a team of warriors, who are getting absolutely hammered by its powerful tail strikes. One poor guy gets launched into the cliffside, crashing right near Su-hong's feet, and our boy can only grimace, realizing this fight is a total disaster. This python just keeps tossing these hunters around like ragdolls. Its speed is completely overwhelming, smashing everything in its path. Another warrior's weapon lies shattered on the ground, the battle clearly lost, leaving only the sound of coughing and pools of blood. Su-hong finds one of the last survivors, tragically impaled by his own spear. Wiping some blood from his own mouth, he looks absolutely furious, and decides to borrow the fallen man's spear for a little payback. Now armed, he squares up against the colossal beast all by himself. This snake immediately lunges, ready to add another kill to its record, and Su-hong knows a monster this strong usually needs a whole squad, but with his skills maxed out, he is feeling just a little overconfident. Planting his foot, he launches himself forward with explosive speed, dead set on proving he can take this thing down solo, and he unleashes that Rage Sea Spear technique, ready to make a serious splash. This Rage Sea Spear slams right into the python's armored scales, which earns him a very angry, pained roar from the beast. Using the impact, Su-hong bounces off its massive body to gain some distance, landing with a cool blue aura, already prepping for round 2. With eyes glowing, he is totally in the zone and just getting started. Another swirling spear attack launching straight for the snake's head, making a solid connection that sends sparks flying off its skull. Now thoroughly ticked off, the python starts thrashing wildly, but Su-hong knows he cannot one-shot this thing. He has gotta wear it down first. Just in time, he dodges a massive tail swipe, switching tactics to land a perfect Thunder Rush fist instead. This whole strategy is basically hit and run, creating space after every attack, so he squares up again, ready to rinse and repeat the process. This whole dance is exhausting, but it is the only safe way to fight. Slowly but surely, the giant snake is starting to tremble and weaken, and believing the finish line is in sight, he readies his spear for another go, when a sudden sound from the trees catches his attention. Eyes snapping to the side, he demands to know who is there, as some dude in power armor with a flaming fist drops in, laughing his head off. Su-hong braces for impact as the wannabe kill stealer comes in swinging. This armored goon lands a cheap shot, sending Su-hong flying, who hits the ground hard, coughing up dust from the ambush, and looks up to see a whole crew of jerks has arrived, led by that same blonde punk from the base demanding the python. Now it is 5 against 1 with Su-hong kneeling before the whole gang, and young Master Yi smirks, remembering the kid who dared to leave the city alone, condescendingly noting how lucky he was to find a nearly dead monster, which makes Su-hong realize these guys are just here to steal his hard-earned kill. This armored goon then steps up, telling him to get lost before he gets hurt, but our boy is absolutely fuming, not about to roll over. Powering up his fist, he taunts the guy for needing a sneak attack to land a hit, then unleashes a blazing red punch of his own, catching the goon completely off guard with its terrifying power. This punch connects right in the faceplate with a massive crack, dropping the big guy like a sack of rocks while his buddies just stare. And he recognizes the move, connecting it to someone called Minotaur. Su-hong in turn flashes back to a man in a fox mask, thinking White Fox. With his pride shattered, he whines that he has never been so disgraced before, so he just orders his remaining lackeys to kill him on the spot. Seeing the numbers are still not in his favor, Su-hong grabs the spear and makes a tactical retreat off a cliff. These goons are on the hunt, with their boss man warning them to be careful. But one of the lackeys gets cocky. It is just one kid, right? That kid immediately flattens him from the shadows, and all the poor guy sees is a flash of blue-eyed fury, before another goon gets taken out just as brutally. Yeah, he is definitely not getting back up from that one, leaving young Master Yi completely stunned by Su-hong's insane speed. His remaining flunkies recognize the move as a perfected thunder rush fist, which sends Yi into a full-blown panic. How is that even possible? From a safe distance, Su-hong regrets being too tired to just wipe them all out at once, so he settles for picking them off guerrilla style instead. His borrowed spear crashes down, scattering the last of the crew. Then he drops from the sky right onto his next victim, delivering a knockout blow straight to the head. As another body hits the dirt, the last two just stare in horror, and the final lackey begs to retreat, but Yi's pride is on the line. He screams that he is killing Su-hong today no matter what, but our boy is already a blur, ignoring him completely, and takes out the final minion with one clean kick. Now all alone, Yi is just baffled at how this kid got so strong in just a few days. With all his goons down, Su-hong is now the hunter, moving like a blur, and young Master Yi is having a full-blown meltdown trying to run. But our boy is already there, ready to end this little chase. In a last-ditch effort, Yi powers up some blue energy, yelling he is not cornered, which Su-hong just casually blocks with the shaft of his spear. This so-called void-piercing finger gets deflected with zero effort, and it just blows a hole in a random innocent tree instead. So he starts spamming it like a madman, pew pew pew, filling the forest with light, while Su-hong just analyzes the technique, completely unimpressed. He then resorts to the classic villain threat: I will kill your whole family. Oh, you just said the one thing you should never ever say to a protagonist. Suddenly, Su-hong's speed kicks into a terrifying new gear, so he starts desperately name-dropping his powerful relatives to save his skin. Too late for that, Su-hong's already in his face, fist glowing red, even taunting him that he preferred the arrogant version from before. Then comes the punch, connecting right across the jaw, sending the young master flying with a brutal uppercut. His body just tumbles down the cliffside like a discarded toy, leaving Su-hong standing at the edge, finally catching his breath. With a cold look, he reminds himself why he did it. You do not threaten his family. Young Master Yi is on the ground, completely baffled at how a non-warrior just destroyed him. And to make his day infinitely worse, the giant python is back on its feet, his face frozen in the kind of terror that says, I am about to be lunch. Then the python's tail comes crashing down with absolute finality. Su-hong realizes his little side brawl gave the monster a much-needed breather. While somewhere else, a few other hunters wonder where their boss even went. A new masked dude watches the chaos from a distance, looking very interested, as Su-hong barrels toward this new crew, telling them to get lost. But the python decides to crash the party, bursting through the trees, its tail whipping out to flatten one of the hunters, and Su-hong gets the points. He's a little surprised to get credit for an indirect kill, but hey, he will take it. This whole three-way mess is just turning into a massive XP farm for him, and with all these new points, he can finally break through to the warrior rank. Now all he needs is a quiet spot to do his whole power-up glowy thing. Spotting a nearby cave that looks just about perfect for the occasion, he makes a mad dash for it with the very angry snake in hot pursuit, which slams into the ground right where he was standing, leaving Su-hong safely inside the cave, ready for a standoff. Of course, the python is not giving up, trying to burrow its way in after him. Su-hong just ignores the racket, pulls up his stat screen, and gets ready to spend those 504 points. Su-hong just mashes the upgrade button, desperate for a power boost, his whole body burning as his blood energy skyrockets like pure magma. And just like that, the system confirms it. He is officially a Tier 1 warrior. With a brand new aura and an accidental crop top reveal, he is finally feeling himself. Clenching a newly supercharged fist, he tells the snake that its turn is over, then rockets forward with a look that says, I am about to end this thing's whole career. But the python whips its tail around for a desperate counterattack. When that fails, it just resorts to firing a giant laser out of its mouth. This poor thing is looking pretty beat up, but it is still fighting mad. While Su-hong is already charging up a diamond fist of his own, he literally runs up the snake's back like it is a personal highway to its face, blocking a desperate headbutt with a glowing red arm, though it definitely still stings a bit, judging by that grimace. Getting a firm grip on its head, he prepares to introduce it to the ground, and just slams the monster's face into the dirt with extreme prejudice. This impact sends a massive shockwave of blue energy through the clearing, but our boy's not even close to finished, winding up a thunder rush fist. He brings the punch down with the force of a freight train, which connects in a huge golden explosion right on its skull. Standing on the now very dead python, he collects his points, realizing he can finally fight head-on. Su-hong sits on his kill, pondering a serious issue. Snakes have no ears for trophies. Leaving the python, he heads back down to where he left young Master Yi, and our boy stands over the still-breathing punk, spear in hand, who just glares up, having gotten off way too easy for threatening his family. So Su-hong decides to help himself to some loot, hoping for that fancy martial art. And what do you know, he finds the exact manual for void-piercing finger. Talk about plot convenience. Later that night, he sets up camp near the giant snake carcass, tucked away safely inside a nearby cave to get some work done. With the basics memorized, it is time to let the system do all the heavy lifting. So he manifests an energy clone for some high-speed virtual training. His avatar immediately starts practicing the new finger laser move. And in this training space, he masters the skill at a ridiculous speed. Though even virtual training has a price, leaving him coughing from the strain. This B-rank skill is a huge drain even at beginner level, so he needs a test subject. 3 days later, a giant demonic bear kindly volunteers for the job, and Su-hong's new move punches a clean hole right through the monster. With the skill now perfected, he decides it is finally time to head back. He arrives back at the massive, fortified warrior base, where some crew called the Thunder Squad is cashing in an insane haul, and everyone's in awe they brought back nothing but high-tier beasts. Su-hong cashes in his haul, and the sheer number of kills makes everyone's jaw hit the floor, which immediately makes him sweat. Maybe being that good was not the stealthiest move. Meanwhile, back at the main base, a huge commotion is kicking off in the plaza. And it turns out the entire place is on high alert after some kind of major attack. A new guy in a suit, Director Yi, orders a complete lockdown. Nobody gets out. One of his confused subordinates immediately asks what in the world is going on, and the director absolutely loses it, screaming that his nephew Yifeng is dead. This crowd is completely stunned. Yifeng's entire 5-man team got wiped out. A few onlookers, however, are not so secretly celebrating the death of that local menace. But the director's real priority is a missing B-rank skill, so now everyone gets searched. Su-hong figures he is in the clear since the python did most of the dirty work, so he just watches from the crowd as the director's goons start their search. Then he gets that classic "oh no, they are looking right at me" feeling, as the crowd parts and the entire entourage makes a beeline straight for him. With a look that is anything but friendly, the director compliments his impressive haul. And that impressive skills comment is basically a full-blown accusation. An assistant chimes in that he is too weak and must have just looted his backpack, so 2 of the suits power up their flame fists, telling him not to resist. In a sudden blur of motion, one of the goons completely loses track of him, because Su-hong's spear is now resting gently on his throat, way too fast to see. Su-hong plays his trump card, name-dropping his prestigious high school. And Director Yi actually hesitates. That school's principal is apparently a big deal. He figures if the kid's a real genius, making an enemy would be a terrible move, so he tries a softer approach, asking for cooperation to find the culprit, even offering a measly 10,000 yuan to make the search go smoothly. Su-hong just counters with a demand for 30 grand, knowing they will find nothing. He then plays the victim, telling them to be thorough so he is not wrongly accused. Of course, they come up empty, and the director has to begrudgingly pay up. Our boy is just relieved he remembered to burn the evidence. That was way too close. While the lockdown continues for everyone else, Su-hong strolls off to plan his next move. First stop is a fancy hotel room to finally get some privacy for his level-up session, where he pulls up his stat screen and sees a glorious 534 points ready to be spent. He could dump it all into blood energy to hit the next warrior stage. But he has never touched his spirit or physique stats, so it is time for some experimenting. Pumping points into spirit does not seem to do much of anything though, but the physique stat gives him an immediate and very noticeable power boost, so he just spends everything, maxing out his body and energy stats for now. A massive surge of red energy erupts from him as the power-up kicks in hard. His body temporarily bulks up to a ridiculous degree from the sudden stat dump. And he is just relieved it shrinks back to normal because that would have been awkward to explain. An hour later, Su-hong arrives at the Warrior Association HQ, strolling right up to the front desk to sign up for his warrior assessment. A staff member walks him through the basics, hit 100 energy and 1000 combat power, which is when some local hotshots immediately start judging him for being young and alone. Our boy, of course, hears every single word of their trash talk. While inside, the mood is tense as one guy fails his test by a razor-thin margin. Then some new dude named Li Ming steps up, easily passing the blood energy check, and moves on to the combat power test, basically a futuristic punching machine. He unleashes a pretty impressive-looking punch on the poor thing, scoring a 1763 way over the required minimum. This crowd goes wild, recognizing him as a disciple from a famous dojo. But Su Hong just notes the guy's master collects disciples like Pokemon cards. With a smug look, Li Ming tells Su Hong it is his turn to fail, his ego completely off the charts, thinking he is the only genius in the room. That confidence evaporates the second he sees Su Hong's score, a whopping 123 points, which the proctor confirms is a pass. Li Ming immediately starts coping, telling himself only combat power matters. As Su Hong steps up for the main event with everyone watching, he debates how much power to use, not wanting to fail but also not wanting to show off too asterisk much, finally settling on 50% just to be safe and to absolutely demolish some egos. He winds up a casual 50% punch aiming to just pass the test, and the entire testing machine just gets launched across the room, smashing clean through the far wall in a shower of sparks and metal. Li Ming's jaw is on the floor, realizing that was just raw strength, no skills involved. This final score flashes, a ridiculous 3004 blowing past the upper tier standard. Up on a balcony, some officials are pointing him out, calling him an absolute monster, and the older guy just nods because seeing Su Hong again explains everything. Meanwhile, in a very fancy office, the association president is having a bad day, stressed that a rival city keeps finding all the geniuses while she is coming up empty. An assistant then bursts in screaming about a monster at the assessment, startling her so bad she drops her phone. He quickly explains the kid hit 3,000 with pure strength and suddenly she is very interested. Down in the main hall, the chaos has died down after the equipment failure, and the proctor is now personally escorting Su Hong to get registered. But a voice from the top of the stairs dismisses the guide with authority, because the president herself has come down to meet her new prodigy. She introduces herself as Wu Lingxian and basically tells him, "You are with me now." Su Hong agrees, a little stunned that the legendary Tier 5 president is here in person. Next thing he knows, he is sitting on a plush couch in her office. She already knows his whole backstory, even calling out his principal for hiding such a talent. Our boy is just confused, asking why he is here when he just came to register and get paid. Wu Lingxian waves off the boring stuff, saying his pay and certificate are already processed, and for the main event, she is offering personal lessons on something called guidance arts. Su Hong gives the textbook answer, something about absorbing elemental energy to get stronger, but she is like, "Cute, but you are missing the point," and summons a fireball to demonstrate. Her art does not just power her up, it lets her punch things with actual fire. And she launches a full-on fire blast, explaining how this changes the game completely. Our boy is floored, his school apparently forgot to mention the part where you can shoot fireballs. Wu Lingxian then lays out the elemental tier list with thunder sitting at the top for pure damage, but you cannot just pick your favorite, so she pulls out a magical sorting hat. I mean, a crystal ball. She shows off her own 80% fire compatibility, which is apparently genius level. And with total confidence, she hands him the orb, expecting him to hit at least 90%. Su Hong takes it, thinking maybe he should sandbag this a little to avoid attention. This moment he touches it, the orb basically goes supernova with red light. It is completely engulfed, flashing a perfect 100% fire compatibility. Wu Lingxian absolutely loses her mind, explaining this means he has zero energy loss. Putting it in perspective, her 80% made her a tier 5 legend, so he is on another level. Getting way too close, she tells him his potential is basically limitless, but Su Hong, ever the contrarian, just thinks, "Yeah, fire's cool, but I wanted thunder." And because the plot is his best friend, the orb immediately starts crackling with golden lightning, leaving both of them staring as the ball completely switches elements right in his hands. Su Hong just casually drops that his thunder compatibility is also a perfect 100%. And Wu Lingxian's brain completely short-circuits. This kid is not human, he is a monster. Just to rub it in, he makes the orb glow green, adding wind to his perfect score collection, which leaves the president completely floored and processing on the couch a few minutes later. She is having a full-on meltdown, convinced she must be dreaming because this breaks all the rules, remembering how she used to think she was a genius for hitting tier 5 by age 30. But a flashback to fighting a massive beast taught her she was just an ordinary person, and in that moment she learned a vital lesson about facing things that defy logic. You need someone who also defies logic to win. Back in the present, she stares at Su Hong, realizing he is the walking cheat code she needs. Meanwhile, our boy is having the ultimate first world problem. It is just so frustrating having too many perfect stats. So he just asks with a completely straight face, "Why not just give me all 7 training manuals?" Wu Lingxian immediately shuts that down, explaining how some other guy tried that and stayed a total weakling. But Su Hong insists on window shopping the skills and she just gives in, too tired to argue. Changing the subject to save her sanity, she brings up his upcoming school exams, explaining that a massive war is brewing and the world is scouting for geniuses. So she makes him a deal, ace his exam, and she will get him into a top-tier training camp. This hits home for Su Hong, who remembers losing his family in the last war and agrees instantly. A painful flashback fuels his resolve. He is getting stronger to protect everyone he has left. This scene then cuts to his apartment building, setting the stage for his return home. Su-hong gets home, proudly announcing to his aunt and uncle that he is officially a warrior. And they just completely break down, crying with absolute joy and pride, especially when he mentions the 10K monthly stipend means his uncle can finally relax. With a confident smile, he promises to be the one to support the family now. Later that night, he gets right to training, unleashing a massive wave of fire energy, his eyes glowing with power as he channels his new guidance art, and he throws a punch, expecting a massive fireball to erupt from his fist, only for it to fizzle out into a pathetic little puff of smoke. Our boy is just baffled, wondering why his beginner-level art has zero power. He checks his status screen, which confirms he learned the flame art at a measly level 1, but then he notices something President Wu conveniently forgot to mention: it has levels, and he realizes with a smug grin that this must be another one of his exclusive cheat codes. He immediately tries to use his martial Dao points to level it up, but gets a big red insufficient points error. So much for that idea. Plan B is to just learn all 7 manuals at once, because of course it is, which results in 7 different energies having a full-on civil war inside his body. He finally understands why that other guy who tried this stayed a weakling. Whoops. It turns out he can only use one attribute at a time, summoning a small flame to test it. So naturally, his next brilliant idea is to try and force a second one out anyway. And the 2 elements just violently explode and cancel each other out. Lesson learned. Su-hong figures since thunder and fire are similar, he should just be able to fuse them. But the 2 energies immediately cancel each other out in a flash. Not one to be discouraged by the laws of physics, he just keeps trying, lighting up his apartment building's rooftop with tiny explosions all night. By dawn the next day, he is still going, running on pure stubbornness, pushing himself to the absolute brink to get the elements to stabilize. With one last desperate attempt, he forces the 2 energies to combine, and this time the fusion actually holds in his hand. He looks absolutely wrecked, but hey, he finally succeeded after a whole night's work. Now it is time to go find something to hit with his new creation. He heads over to the Star City Martial Arena to test his power, specifically picking a Tier 3 combat tester so he does not break it this time. To get a baseline, he throws a punch with just 30% strength, and is shocked when the score hits over 2300, way higher than he expected. Apparently just his thunder art alone got a massive power-up, so now he is ready to see what happens when he adds fire to the punch. He unleashes the fused thunderfire attack on the machine, and the score immediately blasts past 3000. Our boy cannot believe it. At 30%, he is already hitting upper-tier warrior numbers. Naturally, his next thought is about how much power he'd have if he fused all 7 elements. Su-hong's already bored with 2 elements and decides he will just go fuse 3, which of course leaves him completely flopped on the rooftop after a night of failure. He admits that combining 3 is exponentially harder, and he has made 0 progress. His status screen shows all his arts are still level 1, so he needs points from the exam. This next day at Star City High, the entire student body is gathered for the big test. On stage, the principal announces this exam is different because the war is escalating, and the top 3 students will get a spot in an elite training camp with grandmasters. Everyone immediately loses their minds over the opportunity, vowing to win. Su-hong just looks exhausted, wondering why the president insisted on first place. His friend explains that 2 other guys, Chen Shan and Li Tu, already became warriors. Apparently, the principal has been giving these 2 private lessons on the side. These so-called geniuses are looking smug, ready to prove they are number 1. Meanwhile, the principal is still trying to find that 9-clap thunder fist prodigy, when his conversation is cut short by some very unwelcome visitors. A rival teacher and his goons show up, mocking the principal for looking so stressed out. This guy, Jiangming, brought his own students and challenges the school's best to a spar. This principal is furious, knowing this is just a public attempt to embarrass him. Jiangming keeps taunting him, saying he will understand if they are too scared to fight. But then one of the rival students spots Su-hong in the crowd and points him out. And now the rival teacher is staring right at the one kid who can ruin his whole day. Jiangming spots Su-hong in the crowd, instantly recognizing the little monster. This rival teacher starts sweating, realizing his whole plan is about to backfire spectacularly. He knows his own students do not stand a chance and would just get embarrassed, so he immediately backpedals, claiming it was all a joke and surrendering on the spot. What a Chad. Star City's staff is absolutely livid at being mocked so openly. This exam begins, and Su-hong is called up for his first match in the arena. His teacher warning him that his opponent is a quasi-warrior and to not get hurt. This opponent, of course, starts with the trash talk, asking if Su-hong will just step down. He cracks his knuckles, offering to knock him down instead. Su-hong's answer is a lightning-fast kick that interrupts the guy's monologue, and just like that, the quasi-warrior is down for the count in a single hit. This crowd absolutely loses it, wondering where this insane power came from. Our boy just stands there looking bored after one-shotting the competition. He is already in the finals, with everyone now thinking he is a Tier 1 warrior. Meanwhile, the principal is having a full-on meltdown over his own negligence. He is literally on his knees in regret, while the other teacher vaguely recognizes Su-hong. Their attention then turns to the other semi-final match between the school's supposed top dogs, where Chen Shan and Li Tu are locked in a flurry of blows, looking evenly matched. Li Tu calls out his opponent, telling him to use his trump card or forget about winning. Chen Shan blocks the powered-up punch and the fight for second place is on. Chen Shan throws a massive fire punch, screaming that he is not going down, and the crowd is absolutely floored. He can already project his attribute energy. But his opponent Li Tu just smirks and summons his own power like it is child's play. Now the audience is losing it again because Li Tu is using the metal attribute, and he flexes even harder by creating a storm of chained metal fists. Then he winds up for his ultimate move, the 5-clap Thunder Rush Fist. This attack connects with brutal force, sending Chen Shan flying out of the ring. From the sidelines, the principal and another teacher are blown away by Li Tu's talent, concluding that Su Hong has absolutely no chance in the finals if only they knew. But then a third teacher waltzes in and drops a 50k bet on Su Hong winning because he is not an idiot. This final match begins, Li Tu versus Su Hong, our boy with the very subtle contestant number 666. Li Tu immediately starts running his mouth, calling Su Hong lucky to have even made it this far, while Su Hong just looks bored, finally seeing an opponent who is not a total pushover. His opponent keeps monologuing about being number one, a classic villain mistake. And with a final taunt, he lunges forward to end the fight quickly, unleashing his big signature move to show Su Hong the gap between them. Everyone in the crowd thinks it is over, that Su Hong is completely doomed. Su Hong's eyes just start glowing with raw, fiery power, and he winds up his own punch ready to test his new limits. Instead of dodging, he is meeting the attack head-on as the crowd begs the ref to save him. This two signature moves collide in a massive shockwave, their fists meeting with enough force to shatter the air itself. And Li Tu is just floored. Su Hong countered his ultimate move with 5 simple punches. A flurry of blows rains down as they trade hits at insane speeds, leaving Li Tu wondering if he is fighting a monster with fists made of lead. This teachers in the stands are losing it because Su Hong is matching a top-tier skill with pure brawn. Which leads the principal to a brilliant conclusion. He must have a special physique, what a genius asterisk he is for finding him. But the other teacher tries to be the voice of reason, saying Li Tu still has the attribute advantage. Right as Su Hong sends the guy skidding across the arena floor, Li Tu gets absolutely furious, powering up and screaming that he is the only one who can win. Then he lunges forward again, demanding Su Hong fall before him. Su Hong just sighs, thinking he wanted to test his physical limits, but his opponent got serious too fast. So since Li Tu is going all out, he decides to get serious too, unleashing his own Thunderfire fusion to show the guy some respect. And Li Tu's face is priceless as he realizes Su Hong can project attributes too. This principal and his colleague are literally getting electrocuted by the sheer power radiating off the stage. They are screaming about how this kid has a special physique and the thunder art. It is just terrifying. Their attacks finally meet in a cataclysmic explosion of energy, with Li Tu realizing in horror that Su Hong's thunder is way stronger than his metal. Su Hong just smirks, telling him it is his turn to show off a trump card. Su Hong powers up his own 9-clap Thunder Fist, ready to end this, and the attack absolutely flattens Li Tu with a flurry of lightning-fast strikes, who can only scream in disbelief that he is seeing the legendary 9 claps, leaving Su Hong standing victorious over the school's supposed number one. In the stands, the teachers are just completely stunned into silence. Then they absolutely lose their minds, realizing his technique is perfect, and the principal finally connects the dots. Su Hong is the mystery prodigy he has been hunting for. His colleague just smirks, knowing this kid is about to rock the training camp. While our boy just chills, a dragon in a pond way too small for him. This principal is already planning his future, seeing this as his ticket to the big leagues. Later that evening, Su Hong finally makes his way back home, where his uncle asks how the exam went over dinner, and he just casually mentions he took first place, securing his spot at the camp. But their celebration is cut short by a sudden knock at the door. A very well-dressed woman is outside, asking if this is Su Hong's place. So he opens the door, having no idea who she is. She introduces herself as the mother of the 4th-place student, here to discuss his spot. Then she pulls out a stack of cash, offering to buy his future for a measly 30 grand, and Su Hong and his family are just radiating pure, unadulterated annoyance. Getting angry at their silence, she tries to scare him, saying people die there, great sales pitch, lady. She keeps running her mouth, saying the camp is for elites and he should quit for his own good, which of course freaks his aunt out, who asks if it is really that dangerous, and his uncle tries to calm her down while Su Hong just looks done with this conversation. But then the uncle turns to Su Hong, asking if he can guarantee his own safety, to which our boy gives a single, confident yes. His uncle then tells the lady he trusts his family way more than some random stranger, before pointing to the door and telling her to please leave. And on her way out, she mutters that he will just get eliminated anyway, real classy. After she is gone, Su Hong apologizes for not mentioning the risks, but his uncle just gives him a thumbs up, promising the family's full support. His aunt chimes in, saying they do not care about his rank, just that he comes home safe, and Su Hong just smiles, promising he will be okay. Later that night, he is back on a rooftop, looking over the city skyline, thinking about his family's support and how he absolutely cannot let them down. So he pulls up his status screen, seeing the 285 points he earned are not nearly enough, deciding to dump everything into his physical stats to prepare for the camp's monsters, and a storm of notifications pop up as he powers up his mortal body, which jumps all the way to 64.6%, leaving him wondering what comes next. But then he spots something else. his thunder and flame arts are suddenly level 2. And he realizes just practicing them is enough to level them up, no points required. With his new goal set, Su-hong decides to grind out another level before camp, and the next morning arrives, it is officially go time. He opens his eyes fresh from an all-night power-up session, which totally paid off because both his arts are now level 3. His status screen even shows a freebie boost to his blood energy, what a deal. As he leaves, his aunt just begs him to stay safe out there. But his uncle is all hype, telling him to go win the whole thing. This guy is literally shaking with worry as Su-hong walks away though, and his wife totally calls him out on the tough guy act, he is just a big softie. Meanwhile, our boy heads out ready to face whatever comes next, his game face on and looking completely focused. Right before a ridiculously expensive sports car drifts to a stop in front of him. This driver, a cool-looking woman, just tells him to get in. And they are off speeding down the highway in style, giving Su-hong a surprise VIP ride to his next big challenge. He asks the president what this is all about, and she drops the bad news, she's got intel on the competition. Turns out some of the other campers are already near tier 2 warriors, with even their weakest moves being B-rank techniques, so the bar is high. Su-hong just smirks, thinking his system makes learning B-rank skills a total cakewalk. This president gives Su-hong a pep talk, saying his talent is huge but his wallet is not. And Su-hong just calmly thanks her, completely unfazed by the warning, which totally impresses her. This kid's mind is rock solid under pressure. Their car zips through the winding roads of the Tianlin mountain range, where they join other students and learn the camp is in beast territory, but it is probably asterisk fine. A place apparently crawling with monsters all the way up to tier 7 grandmaster level. And we get a lovely visual of the local fauna tearing each other to shreds, because even the weakest beasts here are more vicious than anywhere else. Their van continues its journey deeper into the murder forest, while dozens of glowing red eyes watch them from the shadows. Two of the other guys are starting to get seriously spooked, but Su-hong is just getting hyped, thinking this is exactly his kind of party. They finally arrive at a fenced-in, military-style base in the middle of nowhere. And his new friends immediately start sizing up the competition, who all look like they eat nails for breakfast and wash it down with gasoline. These two guys are instantly intimidated into silence. Su-hong, on the other hand, just smirks, ready to play. A tall student with a staff tells his group it is time to go, but a man in a suit steps in to stop them, announcing there is an entrance assessment first, because of course there is. This regular students are already grumbling about the big clan kids making them wait. And right on cue, a fleet of ridiculously expensive cars rolls up to the gate, from which emerge a few very important-looking people with their own private security. And the crowd immediately identifies them, the top-tier geniuses from the city's most powerful families, who proceed to part the sea of commoners like they are royalty walking on a red carpet, creating a clear divide between the haves and the have-nots. But Su-hong just smirks, thinking these must be the geniuses he is supposed to be afraid of, just as the instructor steps forward to finally announce the rules for the entrance exam. This test is simple. The actual camp is 30 kilometers away, deep inside the murder forest. And to get in, you have to hunt down a beast and retrieve a special token from its corpse, which immediately sends Su-hong's new friends into a panic. That is a death sentence, not a test. While our boy is just calculating how many extra monsters he can kill for system points along the way. Someone asks what happens if they meet a beast they cannot beat, and the answer is you get eliminated, but we will try to save you, which causes an uproar as everyone complains that the whole thing is just based on luck. But the instructor shuts them down with a brutal "life is not fair" speech, telling them the law of the battlefield is to bully the weak and avoid real fights. What an inspiration. A smug-looking guy in a suit chimes in, calling all the complainers trash for being afraid, and one of the students immediately gets in his face, daring him to say it again. But the instructor cuts in, clarifying that while fighting is banned here, anything goes in the mountains. So the two of them just stare each other down, crackling with energy and promising a beatdown later. Su-hong sees the rules for what they are, a brutal free-for-all. But for him, that just means it is a great chance to farm some system points, and the instructor officially kicks things off, telling everyone to get moving. With that, it is a mad dash into the forest as the students scramble for a head start, this crowd quickly thinning out into smaller groups and individuals, and those two rivals from before immediately start trying to take each other out. Their fight kicking off with a clash of fire and ice powers. One throws a fiery punch while the other puts up a desperate block, their brawl turning into a blur of motion and crackling energy. But they are so focused they do not notice someone watching from the trees, where Su-hong is just judging their form and finding them seriously lacking. Deciding they are not worth his time, he turns to hunt some actual monsters. While down below, the rich kid is still monologuing about family legacy and calling the other guy trash. But hearing that specific insult makes Su-hong stop dead in his tracks. A wicked grin spreads across his face, looks like a points delivery just volunteered. He drops down from above, telling the two brawlers to break it up, casually asking if they'd rather play with him instead. And they immediately team up to insult him, calling him trash for interfering. So Su-hong clarifies his generous offer. They should stop fighting each other and fight him together, which one of them takes as the ultimate insult, charging in to get his butt kicked. Su-hong does not even waste a breath, just one-shots the poor guy, sending him flying back with a single brutal kick, which leaves the rich kid totally baffled since they were supposed to be on the same level. Before he can even process it, Su-hong is on him, saying, "Your turn." And the look on this dude's face is pure unadulterated panic. Right before he gets a face full of club for his troubles, down he goes, knocked clean out by the impact, leaving Su-hong to lecture their unconscious bodies on underestimating people. Meanwhile, the instructors are watching this whole thing on a monitor, wondering who the hell this kid is. But the lead guy just says they are not out yet, no rescue call, no elimination. Back in the woods, Mr. Rich Kid starts to stir. Clutching his face and whining about how much it hurts. "Welcome to the real world, pal." He immediately scrambles away, telling Su-hong to stay back, all while screaming about how he has never been so humiliated in his life. His new rival is just as salty, blaming his loss on underestimating our boy, and for a moment they just share a silent, pathetic look of defeat. Then in a shocking twist, they actually apologize to each other, a friendship forged in getting wrecked. Walking off arm in arm to plot their revenge like a couple of cartoon villains. Su-hong, completely unbothered, is already back to training with a spear as he runs, his focus already miles ahead on the real prize. He immediately finds his next targets, a whole pack of giant tusk boars, and these things look seriously ticked off about his existence. So our boy just leaps right into the fray without a second thought, unleashing a flashy lightning-powered attack on the charging beasts, which carves through them like it is nothing. Afterwards, he checks his gains, only to find the system is getting stingy with points now that he is stronger. Deciding to focus on the actual objective, he gets to work and starts looting the dozen or so corpses he just made, but comes up completely empty-handed, no tokens to be found. Half an hour of high-speed travel later, he is still searching, wondering where all the cannon fodder monsters have suddenly gone. Right on cue, a massive black tiger ambushes him from above, and Su-hong is just thrilled, finally, a real fight. His response is a glowing blue finger poke right to the face, sending the beast crashing hard into the ground. Before it can recover, he is already winding up for the finishing blow, bringing his spear down right between its eyes with brutal efficiency. With the tiger dead, he gets a nice point boost, feeling pretty good about himself. Then gets to the gross part, digging through its guts for the prize. And sure enough, he finds a bloody token, mission accomplished after only 3 hours of murder. Su-hong does the math, stronger beasts are rare, weaker ones are everywhere, and he quickly realizes farming the small fry is way more efficient for points. So the new plan is quantity over quality, time to go full grind mode. With 5 hours left, he heads back to the newbie zone for some serious leveling, where the local wildlife is, as usual, being torn limb from limb, and a whole herd of boars flees in absolute terror from something big, which turns out to be a giant, very angry bear interrupting his harvest. Su-hong just casually sidesteps the world's deadliest backhand, then powers up his own fiery fist, ready for a proper fight after all that grinding. He unleashes a massive fire punch that rockets toward the beast, and the bear can only roar as it gets a face full of pure heat, its eye reflecting the incoming doom just a second too late. This impact is absolutely brutal, a direct hit right to the skull, sending the massive creature flying back into a tree with a sickening crunch. Covered in blood, Su-hong is feeling pretty good. Raw strength is getting the job done now. His stats screen confirms it. Mortal body is over 60%, and he is racking up points. But with only 3 hours left, the clock is ticking on his power leveling spree. Just then, a deafening roar rips through the entire mountain range. Su-hong freezes, wondering what the hell could make a sound like that, and looks up to see a legendary golden rock beast king descending from the sky. So much for farming small fry. This golden rock descends in a blaze of glory, looking absolutely terrifying, and Su-hong can barely stand against the shockwave from a single wing flap. Giant trees are just snapping like twigs from the sheer force, forcing our boy to scramble for cover, totally out of his league. This is a brutal reality check for him. He is nothing but an ant here. But then his eyes catch something else happening in the sky. This rock seems to be focused on a tiny ball of light, not the students, and from that light emerges a ridiculously powerful old man telling the beast to back off. His negotiation style is simple: agree with me or I will beat you senseless. A clash of golden energy erupts as the two titans collide, and the legendary beast lets out a pained screech, which just annoys the old guy, who complains about how loud it is. He then proceeds to absolutely pummel the giant bird with a flurry of punches, landing a direct, explosive hit right to its face. This man, Qin Tianli, tells the rock to get lost because he is borrowing the land, and after a final threat, the beast actually retreats. Talk about an eviction notice. Qin Tianli just smirks, looking completely satisfied with his little warm-up. He then announces he is a Tier 7 Grandmaster and the test is back on, no panicking allowed. Su-hong is just left speechless by this insane display of human power. A new fire is lit in him. He vows he will reach that level too. After that little warm-up, Qin Tianli descends to the base camp, casually explaining the rock needed some persuasion to loan them the land, which leaves his Tier 5 subordinates totally starstruck by his power. This Grandmaster brushes it off, wanting to see who survived the pressure test. In the control room, the monitors show a whole lot of failure. Students are just knocked out cold. But one kid catches his eye, still standing after taking down some tigers, and his assistant explains it is a city lord's son. The one good kid out of 100 tries apparently. Another student is spotted, a kid who just zipped out of the danger zone, followed by a girl who used a mental shield to block the force. These three prodigies are clearly the top dogs of the exam, or so they think. Qin Tianli is unimpressed, wondering why only kids from big clans are still standing. Hearing the regular students are all weaker, he is ready to call the whole city overrated, until one of his staff completely loses his mind over another monitor. On screen, Su-hong is back to carving up monsters like the rock was just a mild breeze, and the female instructor is just speechless, calling our boy a monster. Chin Tianli tries to play it cool, telling her to get a grip, but her partner is having the exact same meltdown right next to her. This old man scolds his Tier 5 staff for acting like rookies, all while hiding his own shock. His inner monologue, however, is screaming, "Is this guy even human?" And Su-hong's file confirms it, 100% compatibility in everything, a combat power way above his rank, a true freak of nature. Chin Tianli's brain just short-circuits. This kid is a once-in-a-thousand-years monster, and his inner monologue is just, "I have struck gold," like he won the talent lottery. But his assistant points out the obvious. Su-hong's stats are trash for a genius, which only makes the Grandmaster more hyped when he learns our boy is training *7 arts at once. An aide interrupts his fanboying to say the survivors are arriving. So he goes to greet the three prodigies, who give him the full respect treatment. Meanwhile, other students trickle in looking like they just survived a war zone. After 7.5 hours, Chin Tianli is already bored, calling anyone still out there weak. Except for Su-hong, of course, who he is now panicking might have gotten lost. Right on cue, a lone figure emerges from the woods, fashionably late. Su-hong strolls in, covered in blood, casually saying he was too busy farming to check the time. Everyone else just stares, wondering how many things he had to kill to look like that without a scratch on him. And look who is here, our favorite cartoon villains, still salty and plotting revenge from the sidelines. Even the top prodigies are impressed, noting he cut it down to the very last second. An instructor finally calls time, officially eliminating anyone still in the woods. Then starts the tour of their shiny new high-tech training camp, including a martial arts pavilion with all the best loot. This crowd goes wild at the mention of a rank gear. This is the big leagues now. But there is a catch, because of course there is. Everything costs contribution points, and the only way to earn them is to grind, and grind some more. This instructor dismisses the class, telling the injured to rest and the healthy to keep training. And Su-hong is thrilled to get a private room, perfect for some secret power leveling. Wasting no time, he sits down and dumps all 354 of his hard-earned points into maxing out his body, which sends his mortal body stat rocketing past 90% in a blaze of red energy. He hits 100%, triggering a system evolution as his eyes start glowing ominously. Strange celestial patterns light up across his skin as the transformation kicks into high gear, and a massive shockwave of power erupts from him, shaking the entire room. When the light show finally dies down, he is just sitting there looking deceptively calm. He clenches a fist, feeling the immense physical power now coursing through him, which the system confirms is his new overlord body, and it is only at 0% potential. Naturally, the first thing he wants to do is test out just how strong he has become, so he gives his trusty spear a casual squeeze, only for the C-rank alloy to start bending and cracking like a twig in his hand. His immediate reaction is pure panic over how much that spear cost him, until he remembers he found it for free, time to grind for a rank upgrade. His new plan is to earn points with a weighted vest, wondering just how much he can lift now. Arriving at the storage room, he sees some guy already showing off with a 3,000-kilogram weight, and this dude is even jumping with it, blowing the minds of everyone watching. Even the other top students are impressed, calling the lifter Wang Tianchuo a total freak. In the control room, the staff watches on, noting his strength comes from a special savage god body. This female instructor asks about Su-hong's 7 arts training problem, but Chin Tianli's plan is to let him fail first, cannot just lecture a genius. He then asks his aide if the night raid warriors are ready to go, and the guy smirks, excited to ambush the exhausted students. This Grandmaster's brilliant teaching method, have a stronger warrior absolutely crush Su-hong. His staff is horrified, worried this will just break the kid's spirit. But Chin Tianli's logic is brutal. If he breaks, he is just trash. Elsewhere, the other students are all rushing to watch Wang Tianchuo train, leaving Su-hong to browse the empty equipment room by himself. He picks up a smart bracelet for tracking points, then turns to the weighted vests. Sizing up the options, which go up to a casual 1,500 kilograms. A 10-ton vest on the rack seems completely insane to him, and even a much lighter one is a serious struggle to lift. But after a few blazingly fast test runs around the room, he settles on the 5-ton vest as a comfortable starting point. Su-hong figures the other prodigies are probably lifting something similar, so he heads out to the gravity room to check out their training methods. This crowd outside is already losing its mind over Wang Tianchuo, who wore a 3-ton vest into the room, and is now training under 2x gravity for a total of 6 tons. Su-hong just watches, completely underwhelmed, looks like he overestimated this savage god body. Su-hong watches a couple of guys hesitating outside the gravity room, and it turns out they are too scared to go in, worried they will look weak. Their friend tries to give them a pep talk, but their egos are just too fragile. So Su-hong just strolls right past them, ready to train, which makes the entire crowd mock him for being shameless without a weighted vest. Our boy ignores them completely, stepping into the rare, high-tech facility, where he calculates that his 5-ton vest under 1.5x gravity is a crushing 7.5 tons. He sets the dial to a gentle 1.5x just so he can last longer, and the moment it kicks in, the sheer weight is almost too much to stand. Outside, the peanut gallery is having a field day, laughing at the weakest kid. But Su-hong finds that the intense pressure is actually accelerating his cultivation, and 2 hours later he is still grinding it out in a blaze of red energy. He is drenched in sweat, but his eyes are glowing with newfound power. A quick stat check confirms it, multiple arts have leveled up and his blood energy is higher. Satisfied with the results, he shuts the machine down, already thinking about the next room. He emerges looking completely exhausted but totally accomplished, and the local bullies are right there waiting to mock him for tapping out so fast. Su-hong just complains about how hot his weighted vest is and starts unzipping his jacket, which makes the bullies' jaws drop in absolute horrified shock. As he takes it off, they try to guess it is 500 kg, having no clue it was 10 times that. This crowd dismisses Su-hong's feat, still convinced no one can touch the real monster Wang Tianchuo, who emerges right on cue after enduring 6 tons of pressure for over 2 hours, and he dramatically rips off his vest, soaking in the awe of the entire camp. Meanwhile, the bullies who mocked Su-hong are still just standing there, completely catatonic. Wang Tianchuo stretches, casually calling the weight terrifying, a masterclass in the humble brag, before the white-haired prodigy Lin Xing challenges him to a speed duel instead of a strength one. An rank movement technique is mentioned, and suddenly Su-hong is very interested, because he knows his new overlord body needs some serious agility to go with it. Everyone gathers at the training dome to watch the legendary soaring hung steps technique, and they learn Lin Xing has cranked the difficulty to the max, a level 10 death trap. Inside, he is a total blur, dodging an insane barrage of energy blasts with impossible grace, even leaving a trail of flower petals because of course he is peak extra. Su-hong just watches and his system immediately starts analyzing and copying the rank skill, and with a flash of data in his eyes, he takes his first step to learn it right there. This crowd spots him, pointing and wondering what this weirdo is up to now. Then they all burst out laughing at the idea of learning a rank art just by watching. But Su-hong is already perfectly mirroring the movements, his skill mastery skyrocketing, as the percentage climbs past 90% in a matter of seconds in a blaze of blue data. And just like that, the system confirms he has learned his first rank movement technique. His only thought is that the original is too flashy and flawed, so his copy is kinda embarrassing for now. With his new rank skill learned, Su-hong decides to hit the beast room for points, only to realize the whole crowd is staring at him, gushing over his flamboyant moves, and he has a moment of pure horror. He was doing all those extra poses for real. So he makes a mad dash out of there, swearing off ever using that guy as a template again. As he is running though, he gets the distinct feeling he is being followed. And yep, it is the cartoon villains planning to ambush him when he leaves the next room. Outside the Fierce Beast room, a massive crowd is already waiting for a different show, because the other two prodigies, Xiao Yan and Wang Tianchuo, are facing off. He is all cocky about his savage god body, but she is confident in her spiritual mind powers, which gets Su-hong's attention. He has never seen a mind master fight, so he sticks around to watch. Inside the arena, Xiao Yan is just casually floating in midair, which is not normal. And Su-hong is floored. That is a grandmaster level technique, the true power of a mind user. With a flick of her wrist, she instantly kills 3 high-level beasts at once, sending streaks of golden light zipping through the air to slaughter the entire pack. But then the main event arrives, a massive 3-eyed demon bear glowing with red energy. Its eyes lock onto her, promising a whole lot of pain, except she just lifts the giant monster into the air with her mind, completely helpless. A flurry of golden blades then tear right through the immobilized beast. And Su-hong finally understands, those streaks of light are telekinetically controlled daggers. He is completely in awe, realizing just how broken spiritual mind masters truly are. This crowd gawks at the screen, completely baffled by a giant golden sword, which Xiao Yan is currently using to fight a colossal snake inside the simulation, and her focus is absolute as she channels this insane spiritual power, completely obliterating the beast in a single devastating strike. Su-hong notes she just manifested a multi-ton weapon out of nowhere, and Lin Xing smugly explains it is an rank skill exclusive to mind masters. Everyone else just despairs over how many rank techniques these prodigies have, because of course Wang Tianchuo has one too. The rich get richer. Su-hong, however, is just thrilled, seeing this camp as a goldmine for new skills. On another screen, Wang Tianchuo one-shots a beast with his bare hands, and Su-hong just decides he will copy that guy's rank skill some other time. His new goal is to become a mind master, but he is 73.5 spirit points short, so it is time to hit the beast room for a good old-fashioned point-grinding massacre. This cartoon villains from earlier spot him heading in, ready for their ambush, figuring no one will notice them jumping Su-hong while the stars are training. One of them suddenly screams, and his buddy tells him to keep it down, because they are both staring at the monitor in total disbelief. As Su-hong has summoned over a dozen high-tier monsters to fight at once, this bullies immediately panic, realizing he is about to be torn to shreds, but inside Su-hong just cracks his knuckles, looking like their revenge plan is cancelled. Su-hong just smirks, beckoning the entire monster horde to come at him. And a giant scorpion and massive cobra immediately charge forward, but he just gracefully leaps over a massive claw swipe, channeling bright blue energy into both of his hands, which he uses to blast a monster into smithereens at point-blank range. This new energy art swirls around his palm like a controlled storm, letting him tear through the pack in a devastating blue blur. Outside, the bullies are watching this massacre, their minds completely blown. Until one of them recognizes the footwork. It is Lin Xing's rank technique. They try to rationalize it, wondering if he learned it just by watching, and one of them immediately suggests they call off the revenge plan like right now. This leader, however, is too proud to back down, still clutching his wooden club for dear life. His friend just calmly tells him to look at the screen one more time, and the club just clatters to the floor as they both stare in silent horror. On the monitor, Su Hong is already standing on a pile of monster corpses. The fight's over. He checks his points, disappointed that a dozen elite beasts barely moved the needle, just as more glowing red eyes appear from the shadows for the next round. Standing atop the carnage, our boy decides there is no time to rest anyway, as a new wave of saber-toothed beasts lunges down at him, and Su Hong just clenches a glowing fist, ready for more. He unleashes a golden Vajra fist, blasting a beast point-blank, and a shockwave of energy sends the entire pack flying back. Suddenly, the remaining monsters are a lot less eager to fight, as Su Hong just demands they hand over all their points like a shakedown. This whole horde gets tossed around like ragdolls in the ensuing chaos, leaving the bullies outside staring at a monitor of pure, incomprehensible violence. Their leader has a sudden change of heart, deciding forgiveness is the best part of valor, while the rest of the crowd just gushes over Wang Tianchuo and Xiao Yan's insane records. When a friend asks about their revenge, the bully just awkwardly plays it cool, because in his mind he is flashing back to how close they came to being paced. Just then, the two prodigies emerge from the beast room, revealing their scores: Wang Tianchuo at 280 and Xiao Yan right behind at 270. Everyone is floored, realizing they each must have killed over 50 high-level beasts, which makes one guy's 50-point score feel pretty pathetic in comparison. This rest of the crowd shares their dismal results, some barely hitting double digits, and they all agree the top 3 spots are completely locked down by monsters. But our newly enlightened bullies smugly inform them there is an even asterisk scarier asterisk 1 here, and 1 hour later, the inside of the beast room is an absolute war zone. A mountain of giant monster corpses is piled high to the ceiling, with Su Hong sitting on top like a king, finally taking a breath. After an hour of non-stop monster slaying, Su Hong is wiped and still short on points, but he checks his watch and sees he has racked up 700 contribution points for his trouble, which means it is time for a little late-night shopping at the Martial Skills Pavilion. Inside, he approaches a clerk who looks absolutely thrilled to be working the night shift. He browses the catalog, quickly realizing the rank skills are way out of his price range, but the pills, on the other hand, seem like a pretty solid investment. This clerk sizes him up, mentally writing him off as another broke student just wasting her time. Su Hong asks about the spirit-gathering pills, getting the standard sales pitch about how they work, and his eyes land on the top-shelf item, a Tier 4 pill for a steep 500 points. So he just casually asks for one, and the clerk's brain completely short-circuits. He has to patiently confirm his order, pointing to the very expensive item on the list. Then Su Hong flashes his 700-point balance, and her jaw just about hits the desk. Suddenly, her customer service skills get a massive upgrade as she happily hands over the pill. She is all smiles and "thank you, handsome," after he buys a 200-point spear with the change. Back in the quiet of his room, it is time to review the day's haul, starting with his brand new C-rank Thunderfire spear. A quick stat check confirms he made more progress today than he usually does in an entire week. He is still 25.5 spirit points short of his goal, but he has got one last trick up his sleeve. This little golden pill is hopefully the exact boost he needs to get there, and with one gulp he is confident becoming a mind master is a done deal. This little golden pill dissolves into pure green energy, which immediately floods Su Hong's entire system, no waiting required. His mind suddenly clears, letting him sense the whole room at once, and with a sharp focus his eyes snap open. He checks his stats, a whopping 24-point boost to his spirit, but after all that grinding and spending he is still 0.5 points short. Defeated by basic math, Su Hong just collapses into bed for the night. This next day, a new group of tough-looking guys assembles in the storage room, and it looks like they are the camp's designated sparring partners. They are already giving each other a hard time about their new babysitting gig, with one mohawked guy insisting none of these geniuses could touch him. His friend is not listening, too busy bragging about getting matched with Wang Tianchuo, while another smugly reveals he has been assigned to the spiritual mind master. This mohawk guy, however, got stuck with Su Hong, whose stats look absolutely pitiful, and his buddies are baffled why their strongest member got such a worthless opponent. Their chatter stops cold when Grandmaster Qin makes his grand entrance, so the mohawk guy takes his complaint straight to the top, calling the assignment an insult. But Qin reveals Su Hong's combat power is way above his rank, shocking everyone. Explaining that some of his profile is classified and the guy is still whining, so the Grandmaster just smacks him upside the head, telling him to stop complaining and go crush the kid. This mohawk guy is still whining, warning Qin not to blame him if he accidentally cripples Su Hong. But Qin just gives him this terrifying smile, promising a reward if he can even manage it. And with that settled, the sparring partners are unleashed on the students. Later that night, all seems quiet at the training camp dorms. Except it is not, as a team of assassins suddenly storms a room, and the whole ambush is a mess, one guy's even yelling about his pants. Their target is, of course, Su Hong, who is not thrilled to be woken up, as his door is immediately carved into an X by a massive energy blade. Through the wreckage, an attacker with a glowing purple sword charges in. which slams down and shatters the floor right where Su-hong was sitting. He instantly suspects they are from the myriad races sent to hunt down human geniuses. So our boy summons his brand new spear, ready for a fight. His opponent, who looks suspiciously like that Mohawk guy, dives in for the kill. But Su-hong realizes this is not some alien assassin, just a human warrior. A very dangerous smile spreads across his face. This is perfect timing, because beating this guy will get him the last few points he needs to become a mind master. This attacker is just stunned that this low-tier kid is charging at him instead of running, and their weapons collide in a massive explosion of light and power. Suddenly, the assassin realizes Grandmaster Chin was not lying about Su-hong's strength, and he is in total shock. This power level is just completely wrong for a Tier 1 warrior. This Mohawk guy is still talking trash, convinced this Tier 1 kid is a total pushover. But Su-hong lets out a roar, refusing to back down an inch. And with a huge surge of power, he sends the attacker flying across the room. His opponent is completely rattled, wondering if this kid is some kind of monster. So he starts monologuing about how fights are not just about raw strength. As he powers up his flaming purple sword for another go, Su-hong just looks bored, noting the fire attribute like he is window shopping, while that purple blade flares up with some serious energy. This attacker leaps into the air, charging up a B-rank martial skill to finish this, unleashing his blazing slash with everything he has got. Su-hong meets it head-on, his own power feeling even stronger than his old moves, and spear and sword collide in a blinding flash of light, which causes an explosion that just tears the room apart. When the dust starts to settle, the Mohawk guy has been knocked flat on his back, leaving Su-hong standing over him, completely unfazed by the B-rank attack. Now the guy finally gets it. Su-hong blocked that with pure power, no technique, which is terrifying. He tries to save face, taunting Su-hong for not knowing any actual spear skills, and our boy just smirks, admitting he does not know any thunder techniques, before asking how he feels about adding a little asterisk fire to the lightning. And now he is wielding a thunderfire spear, leaving his opponent absolutely speechless. This Mohawk guy's brain just short-circuits. Attribute fusion is not supposed to be real, because everyone knows different elements just repel each other, and he is realizing the legend is about to hit him in the face. With a flash in his eyes, Su-hong goes on the attack, lunging forward with a spear that is basically a lightning-fueled flamethrower. His opponent desperately throws up his own purple flame slash to counter, but Su-hong's spear just deflects it like it is nothing. And the resulting explosion sends the Mohawk guy flying straight up. This power is just too much, leaving him screaming in total disbelief, before he is blasted back in a massive shockwave of energy. Su-hong stands in the wreckage, getting a nice little +7 martial value notification for his trouble, and a smug smile spreads across his face. He finally has enough to become a spirit master. This stat sheet confirms it. Spirit is at 50.5, goal achieved. Meanwhile, just a few seconds earlier, Grandmaster Chin was strolling outside the dorms, smugly telling his assistant he has prepared a whole lecture for Su-hong after his inevitable defeat. Talk about bad timing. Right on cue, a body gets launched out of the top floor window, crashing down right at their feet in a shower of debris. It is their elite sparring partner, Bu Jingfeng, looking like he just went 10 rounds with a freight train. Grandmaster Chin is absolutely floored, staring at his best guy in a heap on the ground. And his assistant's face says it all. If Jingfeng is here, then Su-hong just won. And it is not just Jingfeng taking a dive, as 3 more elite partners crash land right at Chin's feet. This leaves a nice, neat pile of unconscious bodies for cleanup, while the other top students float down, bragging about their easy wins. But one of them notices the math is a little off. They are all wondering who the extra defeated guy is, assuming he was weak. Chin's assistant has to clarify that is Bu Jingfeng, their strongest sparring partner. This Grandmaster is already crunching the numbers. Su-hong won faster than anyone else. He's completely stumped how a low-tier kid managed to pull this off. Just then, another aide runs in screaming about a major incident, and Chin's first thought is that a student died, which he finds totally acceptable. But no, the news is that Su-hong used a fusion guidance technique. This Grandmaster scoffs, thinking that explains it away, until the full weight of that word fusion finally hits him. He absolutely loses it when he hears Su-hong fused *2 elements, thunder and fire. His aide confirms it with surveillance footage of the legendary Thunderfire spear. Staring at his best guy still knocked out on the ground, Chin finally believes it, and starts ranting that the last genius to do this took 19 years, not 1 month. Suddenly, Su-hong is not just a student, he is a heaven-descended dragon, a total monster. Chin explains this power-up lets a Tier 1 fighter punch up 25 whole tiers. Chin's assistant is still trying to process this, wondering why they are not promoting Su-hong immediately. But the Grandmaster explains that attribute fusion is a legendary dead end that usually just cripples warriors. And yet Su-hong did it in a month, which has Chin fantasizing about him fusing all 7 of his attributes. His hype train completely derails as he imagines Su-hong one-shotting the 10 great emperors. His aides have to gently tell him to get a grip because fusing 7 elements is pure fantasy. For a second, Chin actually acts responsible, realizing he could become a sinner of the human race if he screws this up. Then his other aide suddenly remembers Su-hong has a special physique, yelling that this was a key detail to omit, because the math shows his strength amplification is completely broken, even better than the camp's top brawler. So Chin's new plan is a martial arts competition tomorrow, which is just code for throwing Su-hong against 3 top students at once. He has got this terrifyingly excited look, eager to see what happens when his pet monster fights the strongest kids in camp. Back in his room, Su-hong stands in the absolute wreckage of his dorm and just casually sits down to meditate amidst the debris. Priorities, you know. He immediately pulls up his stats and starts dumping every last martial value point into spirit, finally ready to make the leap and become a full-fledged spirit master. A wave of pure mental energy washes over him and he looks pretty blissful about it, describing the new power as feeling like he has grown a third invisible arm. This system confirms it. Spirit is now at 100.2% and he opens his eyes with a whole new vibe. He glances over at the rubble, a calm, focused look on his face, and a nearby chunk of concrete begins to tremble under his gaze, before lifting effortlessly into the air. Yep, telekinesis unlocked. Su-hong is floating, testing his new telekinesis. He is literally walking on air now, and his next thought is already about stealing a rank moves from his classmates. This next morning, an announcement screams at them to assemble in 1 minute or lose points. So begins the mad dash down the stairs because points are everything here. Everyone's complaining about the brutal schedule, no rest at this psycho training camp. The students gather outside looking like a very tired, very grumpy mob. And of course, Su-hong strolls in looking completely refreshed and unbothered. An instructor notes with a smirk that everyone actually made it on time. He gives them a sarcastic thumbs up. Impressed they could even stand after last night. Then one guy starts whining that he only lost because he was ambushed in his underwear. This instructor just roasts him, asking if he thinks real assassins care about his pants. And with that, the poor guy gets a new nickname from his peers, Bro Underpants. Su-hong watches all this, thinking the instructor has a point, but the grumbling is justified. To settle the complaints, the instructor announces a comprehensive test for everyone, which will measure everything from strength and speed to spirit and skill mastery. After the test comes a combat ranking, with the top 10 getting daily rewards. This other students are already resigned to the top 3 dominating, just hoping to make the cut. Our boy, however, is already wondering what prize first place gets. He is not aiming for top 10. With a cough, the instructor quiets them down and leads them to the testing site, where they all file into a massive testing ground with a Tier 2 combat machine waiting. Grandmaster Chin scans the crowd, thinking Su-hong is just some background character. While some bandaged goon thinks Chin is admiring him, Su-hong knows better. But this other pretty boy correctly guesses he is the one the Grandmaster is actually targeting. As Chin announces a new prize for first place, any rank martial art they want. This students immediately lose their minds because an rank skill is a game changer, and even the top-ranked guys know how incredibly rare those techniques are. This camp's top female fighter is already picturing that sweet, sweet victory, while the fan-wielding speedster wants it to finally shut up his family. Su-hong, however, decides it is time to stop holding back and claim that prize for himself. This is exactly what Chin wants, eager to see the monster finally get unleashed. He calls up the top 3 students to set the bar: Lin Xing, Xiao Yan, and Wang Tianchuo. Everyone else is just glad they do not have to go right after that killer lineup. Until Chin calls the 4th name, Su-hong, and the whole crowd just freezes. His classmates are whispering, wondering how the guy who ranked last got this kind of attention. Assuming it is a humiliation tactic, put the weakest right after the strongest. First up is Lin Xing, who claims the physical power test is not even his specialty, before winding up and smashing his fist into the combat machine, which immediately flashes a score of over 4,000. This crowd is absolutely stunned. If that is his weak point, his speed must be terrifying. Su-hong just smirks, already analyzing his rank movement and wondering if he can copy it. Next up is the speedster Lin Xing, powering up a fist that is glowing with green wind energy. And he slams his cloud-hiding gale fist straight into the testing machine. This score immediately flashes, a massive 5642. This crowd is absolutely floored because strength is supposed to be his weak point. Su-hong, however, just gets a notification that he has learned the skill by watching and calls the power boost a bit small. This fan-wielding pretty boy smirks at the top female fighter, Xiao Yan, telling her to do her best. Her physical test comes in at a lower 3253, but Su-hong knows that is not her real strength. With her eyes glowing gold, Xiao Yan begins to channel her spirit energy, and instead of punching, she manifests a giant golden energy fist to do the work for her. Naturally, Su-hong gets another pop-up. He has just yoinked her spirit weapon condensation art too. Our boy has a greedy little smirk, wondering how many more free skills he can collect today. This giant golden fist solidifies, crackling with immense power right above the machine. With a final determined glare, Xiao Yan unleashes her attack, sending the spirit weapon crashing down with devastating force. Her score blows the last one away, a staggering 5942. Everyone is stunned again, realizing her spirit power nearly doubled her combat strength. Su-hong just calmly analyzes the data, thinking about all the combat applications for telekinesis. He is already picturing the technique, condensing a golden sigil out of pure energy. A simple hand gesture is all it takes to command the condensed form, and he is already processing the downside. The more solid the object, the more spirit it consumes. Su-hong realizes his spirit power is not quite ready to copy that last technique. So he shelves it for later, eager to see what the next guy Wang Tianchuo has to offer. And the crowd goes wild for the camp's top brawler, the true god of combat power, while Su-hong just sizes him up, wondering how this guy's physique stacks up to his own. As Wang Tianchuo starts trash-talking, promising this punch will show everyone their place. Then he unleashes a raw physical strike that sends a shockwave through the arena, which has his classmates losing their minds. His basic punch is almost as strong as a special move, and up above, Grandmaster Chin gives a little nod of approval. So Wang Tianchuo smugly announces that was just the appetizer, now for a real martial art, which is exactly what Su Hong was waiting for, a greedy smirk on his face, as the brawler's hand begins to glow with a ghostly white energy, and he channels that power into a devastating fighting stance, which Chin immediately recognizes as the rank Bone Netherfire Fist. And just like that, Su Hong gets the pop-up, another expensive rank skill acquired for free. With a final glare, Wang Tianchuo unleashes his ultimate attack, slamming his glowing fist into the machine with incredible force, and the score rockets to 75-34, blowing everyone's minds all over again, earning him some major praise from Chin, who is clearly impressed by the display. But the Grandmaster's face hardens as he calls the next name, Su Hong, and our boy walks up while the crowd whispers that he is a dead man walking. Chin lays down the rule: first punch is pure strength, no skills allowed. So Su Hong just digs his heels in, raw power starting to swirl around him, and with a sharp exhale he gets that it is all mine look in his eye. Then he throws a straight-up haymaker, fully intending to claim that a rank prize. This impact sends a massive shockwave across the testing ground, kicking up a huge cloud, and the score pops up a casual 65-51. Even Grandmaster Chin is floored, admitting he still underestimated this kid's monster level. While the entire student body just goes dead silent, brains completely short-circuiting. Everyone's losing it, wondering how the dead last guy is suddenly a god-tier powerhouse. And even the top three are eating their words, with Wang Tianchuo admitting he was way too arrogant. Su Hong then asks with a smirk if he can use a martial art now, and Chin just numbly agrees. So our boy gets back into position, ready for round two. A blue aura flares up as his system shows a skill rapidly loading in real time, and he is instantly mastering the Bone Netherfire Fist he just saw, because of course he is. Chin's aide tries to rationalize it, saying Su Hong's skills must be weak since he is from a poor family. But the Grandmaster knows better, staring intently because that is not a low-level technique. This system dings to confirm 100% mastery, and Su Hong's eye glows with power, his hand igniting with the exact same ghostly flame as Wang Tianchuo's, shocking the crowd. Time to test out his newly stolen rank art, he thinks, winding up for the kill. And he unleashes the punch, sending a devastating blast of energy straight at the machine. This crowd is absolutely losing it, screaming his power is even greater than the top guys. And the score confirms it, a ridiculous 90-13, well into Tier 2 high stage territory. Chin's aide is convinced the data is broken, but the Grandmaster knows what he is seeing, a monster. Wang Tianchuo tries to rationalize it, saying Su Hong must have hidden a massive vitality score. Until someone shouts out his actual asterisk score was 137, completely short-circuiting the room. A quick check of the records shows the number is legit, 137, which is just impossible. His classmates cannot process it, wondering if the machine just missed a zero somewhere. Grandmaster Chin just stares, completely captivated by this walking contradiction. After that bombshell, he moves them on to the next phase, a practical combat tournament. He lays out the rules, it is a challenge system, and the last one standing wins the rank art. Immediately, a voice cuts through the crowd to address the Grandmaster, and it is the fan-wielding pretty boy Linzing who wants to fight Su Hong. His logic is simple: dodge Su Hong's attacks until his weak vitality runs out, a solid plan on paper. But Chin immediately shuts him down with a hard no way, leaving the kid stunned. Instead, the Grandmaster tells all three top students to attack Su Hong together. They are all deeply insulted, worried they might accidentally cripple the poor guy. Chin just asks Su Hong for his take, and our boy calmly agrees to the 3-on-1. This just infuriates the trio, who see his acceptance as pure arrogance. With the terms set, Chin gives the signal for the match to begin, and in an instant all three of them blitz Su Hong from every angle. Linzing smirks, planning a sneak attack with his signature speed art, but Xiao Yan screams a warning for him to dodge. She senses immediate danger. Too late, Su Hong is already there, a blur of motion right in his face, and our boy just whispers goodbye as he throws a punch, which stops a hair's breadth from the pretty boy's nose, a perfect power move. Su Hong then effortlessly dodges the panicked counterattack, making him look silly, leaving a shaken Linzing to warn the others that Su Hong's speed is unusual. No kidding, Sherlock. Suddenly, a weird pressure hits Su Hong, who realizes he is being targeted by spiritual telekinesis. His eyes lock onto Xiao Yan, the glowing source of the problem, so he decides to take out the support first, blitzing straight for her. Xiao Yan is stunned, recognizing he is using Linzing his own rank movement skill, while the trio loses their minds, wondering how he can copy a wind attribute art. Wang Tianchuo steps up to intercept, telling Xiao Yan to keep him pinned, throwing his signature Bone Netherfire Fist to stop the charge, only for Su Hong to meet it with the exact same rank move. At that moment, Xiao Yan unleashes her full power, trying to freeze him in place, and Su Hong gets locked down, admitting this spiritual control is pretty annoying. Seeing an opening, Linzing flies in with a kick, ready to finish the monster. Grandmaster Chin watches, thinking it is too hard to break spiritual control without immense power, but Su Hong just smirks because too hard apparently is not in his vocabulary. Su Hong twists in midair, dodging both the brawler and the speedster's attacks, And with a massive flex, he just shatters the spiritual lock holding him down. Xiao Yan coughs up blood, realizing he broke her power with pure strength, which is just rude. As Lin Xing comes flying in for a kick, Su Hong's hand shoots out, and he just casually catches the speedster's ankle mid-attack. This crowd absolutely loses their minds, calling him a humanoid ferocious beast. Su Hong's grip tightens, not letting go for a second, and you can practically hear the bones creaking from here. Lin Xing's face says it all, pure unadulterated panic. Our boy then starts swinging the pretty boy around like a human nunchuck, aiming him directly at a very surprised Wang Tianchuo. Su Hong's eyes glow, looking completely unfazed by this 3-on-1 nonsense. He slams his two opponents together with a sickening crunch, leaving Wang Tianchuo embedded in the floor, looking very unhappy. Lin Xing got the worst of it, bleeding and completely dazed. All the onlookers can do is stare, their brains having officially left the building. This arena is just a blur of motion and pure savagery, and just like that, one of the top three has fainted. Su Hong stands over his handiwork, holding the down speedster by the leg. He gives a little smirk as if to say, 2 down, 1 to go. Xiao Yan, the last one standing, immediately surrenders. She wants no part of this. This crowd's collective brain just melts, realizing he beat the top 3 by himself. Grandmaster Qin steps in, asking if anyone else is brave enough to challenge him, and the students are like, nope, we forfeit, we do not want a beating. With first place officially decided, Qin tells the rest to fight over the scraps. He then invites Su Hong to come claim his prize, that sweet rank martial art. Our boy is just thinking, yep, another rank skill for the collection. On the way, Qin admits he has been watching Su Hong and asks why he hid his strength. Su Hong explains that showing off early just gets you targeted when you are a nobody. This makes Qin laugh, revealing he actually set up this whole tournament just for him. He even offers his personal protection, telling the kid to stop holding back from now on. They arrive at the martial art pavilion, ready to go skill shopping. Qin hands over the list, but Su Hong smartly asks for a recommendation. To help, the Grandmaster asks what he already knows, and Su Hong casually lists his recently stolen rank arts. This completely floors Qin, who realizes Su Hong learned them just by watching Asterisk, and our boy just confirms it. This Grandmaster's face says it all. This kid is not a genius, he is a monster.